Hello, this is Bryant Myers, author of PMF, the Fifth Element of Health, and in this video we're going to go over the software features of the new iMRS Prime and what's called iMRS OS, which is the operating system, and you're going to see that there are many features, many improvements over the previous system, but yet it's still very easy, intuitive to use, as we'll see. So let's begin with the start screen. So you can see there are 7 hexagonal options, and what I want to call your attention to is that the colored options are the ones that are going to be active on your system, and the ones that are grayed out you don't have yet. So for this example, you can see the hybrid and the trial on the screen are not colored in. So if you wanted to order those, you simply submit an order and you get an activation code, and then when you enter the activation code, these will be colored as well. So you can start with the basic system and keep upgrading to all the different options over time if you want to do it that way. So I'm not going to go through in this video, but there's also a setup screen. I'll kind of just show you a brief image here. And this is going to allow you to change the clock, the language, the volume, the screen brightness, and all those kind of just basic setup stuff. So let's start with manual operation. So manual is basically you're putting in the applicator, time, intensity, and whatever options that you want. And it's really cool because it's kind of an interactive question and answer, so it makes it really easy. It just kind of walks you through all the steps. So the first thing that you're going to see here, and I'm going to show you on the screen, is you're going to be able to select the applicator. And there's going to be a little plus or minus, so you can scroll through the different applicators, and it's only going to show you the ones that are plugged in. So the next thing is the timer duration, so you just plus or minus however long you want your session to be. So the next option is the intensity. So like our previous system, we're going to have sensitive 10, 25, 50, 100, 150, 200, and 400. And on level 400, it'll go up to 70 microtesla on the different applicators. So the intensities are still the same coils as before, so it's going to give you the same energy. Now the organ clock, as before, it's going to be automatically set by the clock. So you really don't have to do anything here. You can just press next unless you want to override the organ clock. The next option here is the brain, and this is going to be a separate screen. And I did kind of go over this in the last video, but you can see here you can select any color you want. You can upload your own music as we talked about in the last video. And of course that only will show up if you have the brain. So pretty much every system will have these first 4 options, but the rest of the options depends on if you have, for example, the brain, the biofeedback, or the far infrared. But if you don't have those, after the organ clock, it'll just say start. So the iMRS, you can see the screen here, basically just active or inactive. And then the far infrared is only if you have the hybrid system. And here you can select the temperature. So once you get through all the options, you simply press start. And then you'll get down to this start screen. And what's interesting now is that you can, well, of course you can stop a session in the middle of the session if you want, but you can also pause it. So if something happens or you get interrupted, you can press pause and take care of that and come back and press resume, and it'll pick up right where you left off. We didn't have that before. Now the program mode, you can actually have groups and users. So for example, you could name a group family, and then each user could be all the family members. And certainly for clinics and practitioners, this will allow you to really organize like different patients, different clients, etc. And essentially, in the program mode, you're just selecting whatever options that user wants. You press save, and that way when you bring up the user, you can just simply press start, just one button, and it'll call up all those entries that you saved. The program mode, obviously you have to program the settings that you want, but what's neat about this new system is that we have now fast start programs. So this way you can just, without even having to think, well, what should I do for each person, you can just use a fast start program. And what's nice about it is that it will automatically pre-select time, intensity, duration, all these things, and it will even synchronize, if you have the hexagon brain system, the color and the tones to match the program. So the programs are performance, activation. Those are kind of your energizing programs. Then you have balance, repair, and regeneration. These are kind of sort of just a balancing, middle of the road type of frequency, which is neither too energizing nor too relaxing, but just kind of a nice, balanced, relaxed kind of alpha state. And then you have sleep and relaxation programs, which will give you more of those sleep, relaxation, theta, delta frequencies. What's nice about this is that you can just turn on your unit, select the fast start program, press start, and then you don't have to do anything else. It's really great. But something that's definitely new is the solfeggio scale 9. And what that is it kind of originally came from Gregorian chants, and it's 9 different frequencies that that some people correlate to the different chakras, but there's been a lot of research on these solfeggio frequencies, and you can do a Google search and you'll just see a lot of information on the solfeggio frequencies. One that's kind of pretty well known is the 528 hertz, which has been shown to help with DNA repair. What we have in our system with this Fast Start program is it's going to go through all 9 of these solfeggio frequencies. Now the next thing is the iGuide, and the iGuide is going to be basically the same as we had it before. There'll be 284 conditions, but it's going to be an easier interface, and I'll show you a screenshot here, and it's going to be just easier to scroll through and find what you want. Now the hybrid tool, if you have the hybrid fur infrared mat, that will basically add one more button here on your manual operation. So when you get to that button, you'll basically select the temperature, and you can set in the settings either Fahrenheit or Celsius. The settings will let you change back and forth. Okay, so now something I'm really excited about. It's this new split mode. And this is something that's never been done before with any PMF company, to give you basically 2 PMF units in one. Meaning with the hexagon connector box, you can plug in 3 applicators on each side. You can plug in a biofeedback on each side and the light and sound on each side. And it has 2 separate DA converters, because there are a couple systems on the market that have the ability to do 2 applicators at once, but they split the energy so you're only getting half of the power. And you can't do like 2 separate users like I'll show you on the screen here. I mean, literally, the screen divides in 2, and each person has their own PMF device. And you would have to pay extra for extra applicators, but even if you just started with what you had, you'll be able to use a full body mat, say, with the spot applicator at the same time. You could use the pillow and the spot at the same time, etc. Okay, now the last thing here is this new trial mode, and this will be the top of the line system, and this will be mainly for researchers and practitioners. Basically, the new iMRS 2000 Prime has a frequency generator built in, and you'll be able to select the waveform, sawtooth, square, trapezoid, or sine, the carrier frequency, the pauses between the pulses, which corresponds to the repetition rate I've talked about in other videos, which is kind of the frequency of those pulses. Then you can select the intensity up to 1,000 microtesla, so we're going to a higher intensity now. And then the time, you could go a couple hours. So let me show you the summary screen here. You can see the summary screen, which will summarize after you've selected everything on one screen here, and you can save that, and you can have a reproducible experiment. And it will even allow you to add the far infrared, the biofeedback, and the light and sound system. So if you want to use those in your research study, you can as well. So thanks for watching. That concludes our tour, or kind of a video brochure, of the new iMRS 2000 Prime. Please do visit our new website, imrs2000prime.com, or call us 1-800-900-5556 extension 1, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So thanks again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.